Hey everyone, welcome to the plant-based morning show on the road edition, light edition, maybe, because we're not doing Instagram, because I forgot my phone holding device, which is okay. Instagram doesn't really matter. Has definitely been downgraded as far as importance for this show, next to zero importance. And we can say that because we're not on Instagram today, so we're not offending anybody.
Yeah, there you go.
So I don't need to bring Doug in. Doug's already here.
No,
Doug,
I'm already here. I don't have to pretend like I'm not here, which is good. Matt, I am doing well. It is hump day, our first episode of the week because you've been traveling, or because Monday, I guess we had the day off.
Yes,
company-wide day off.
Company-wide day off after our Plantapalooza extravaganza the week before.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was tired from that. Not least of whom you were tired, right?
I was quite tired.
Very hard during that time.
I did.
So you got a nice day off. We all enjoyed it. Yesterday I was driving the whole day out to Kansas City. I can explain more about that in a bit. But anyway, that's that. So here we are. We're gonna do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. So that we'll still get the 3 shows as promised. Not really promised, as said for summer hours. We're gonna get 3 shows in, and should be good. Just different times this week. I don't even know if we know all the times, or do we know tomorrow's time?
I think tomorrow's gonna be 3 p.m. or yeah, I think that's right. 3 p.m. Eastern, and then Friday will be another earlier episode.
Okay, good. All right. Well, Jeff Hudnall's here. I don't see anyone else here yet. So this is right now for podcast people only. This recording. Okay, here they come. Now they're coming in all of a sudden. Although they're from Facebook, so I don't know. It's a little. I don't know what's up with the notification system today. Maybe at the odd time.
Mm-hmm. Also, all of our West Coast people are probably still sipping their coffee, getting up in the morning, and
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
so you're in KC.
I'm in Kansas City for soccer. My son has his first big tournament on Charlotte FC's team, which is awesome. So Aaron and I could not resist the temptation to drive out. He flew out yesterday with the team. We dropped him off at the airport, 7 a.m. He flew out. 2 hours later, we were barely past Asheville, and he had landed. And so we just drove the whole rest of the day. We didn't expect to make it all the way. Stopped in St. Louis, went under the arch for a minute, took a picture.
Nice.
Ate some Korean vegan food there.
Is your daughter with you, or just the two of you?
No, we dropped her off in Asheville with my dad. So she's just hanging out there. So it was actually a nice long day. It's so easy to drive without kids and with 2 drivers. Like you can just keep going. Like it was tough, but we could have gone 20 hours if we had to. It's just a totally different game when there's no kids.
Yeah.
To
fun little road trip with your wife. I like it. Are you gonna? Do parents come out to these? To these distant games, or are you gonna be the only Charlotte fans?
No, a lot of parents would be here.
Okay.
Just because it's this big team and it's the first time. So there are a lot doing it. I think in general he'll travel with a team like this, not always on a plane, sometimes bus. And I think in general people don't go. It's just or many fewer go. But just this first one where you get to go watch 6 games in the span of 4 days.
6 games against the same team?
No, all different MLS teams. So today they play FC Dallas, and then in the evening today they play Inter Miami, which is where one of my bits of news for today, Lionel Messi, plant-based during the season, we think he has it seems like decided he's going to Inter Miami next season.
Messi's going to Miami?
Yeah,
I thought he was going to Saudi Arabia. Wasn't that like one of the?
Soccer rumors just fly around left and right. So this one, I'm hesitant to say this is definite, but it sure looks like it to me. It's really big. And so David Beckham is one of the owners of Inter Miami. There's a deal with Apple TV, the MLS, so there's a Messi documentary series coming out. So I think it was this whole bunch of stuff lured him here. So next year, I think his kid will be on Inter Miami's academy, because I think right now he plays.
Does his kid just get like an automatic pass?
Yeah, automatic pass. Yep.
You're Messi's kid, and you get to automatic. Oh, come on.
So I don't know what year he is, but that would be intriguing if we got to play. If Holden got to play against his kid, I would love that. Yeah, not miss that game.
No, let's find out how old he is. Anne Marie is asking if your son's getting any playing time yet.
Oh, they haven't had any official games yet. They've only done little friendlies, and they've got a big roster, so he's splitting the time with like everybody else. But yeah, so far it's been great. Plenty of time.
Good.
Yeah, it is good. So anyway,
they don't play in the main stadiums, do they?
No. They will have apparently a couple games in the main stadium, but not this. This is just a tournament at a certain cup or park area.
Well, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. Hence my jersey wearing today.
Do they wear Charlotte FC jerseys?
Yes, they have. So today they wear black. They were black this morning, but their other kit that they'll wear during this tournament is exactly the one I have on. So he's. I mean, cool. You can imagine he slept in it for the first couple of days he had it. He was so excited. For real. I mean, no joke. He was just.
Yeah, I mean,
of course, sure, right? You get to wear the pro team clothes.
Yeah, but it's you. It's your jersey. You know?
Right. Yeah, I know. So super exciting. All right, so I want to hear about your races, Doug. I barely caught a little wind of Aaron Redmead, part of the Instagram post, so I don't know too much. Intentionally didn't find out too many details. I want to hear about yours and Katie's.
Because you weren't interested, or because you wanted to hear on the podcast?
I wanted it to be on the show. Okay. I wanted good content. So I want to hear about yours and Katie's and how these things went.
Yeah, so we had a huge weekend. Just for anyone who hasn't followed along, I had my first ultra since October 2021. And it was a 6-hour timed event. So so the way those work, if you're unfamiliar, is that this one is a 3.25 mile loop, and you run that loop as many times as you can in 6, 12, or 24 hours. I was doing the 6 hour. And for this year, you had to complete a loop for it to count. So like an extra mile past it didn't matter. So you just wanted to end with as many loops as you could. And then the fastest average pace, if there were ties of the amount of people who finished the same amount of loops, the fastest average pace kind of ranked you among your peers.
Wait, wouldn't you have the same average pace if you did the same amount of loops?
No, like if you finished it in 5 hours and 47 minutes. Or something
okay.
Like that. And yeah, so it was my first big race in a long time, and I was pretty fired up about it. I'd say my training. I was a little bit maybe cocky about my training going into this race, overly cocky.
Not from my perspective. I don't think you were cocky on the show. Well, you had a goal that was, I didn't know if it was big or not, but
it was a little ambitious. I mean,
you were saying top 5, maybe top 5 finish.
What I did was I looked at previous years and said, what would it take to get in the top? I was hoping for top 3, honestly. What would it take to podium? From based on previous years, and I was right. If I had reached that, if I had hit that, I would have tied for second or third. So it would have had to do with my pace. But I think I was a little overconfident in the amount of training that I've had. I'll leave it at that. And then but I was very fired up. It just felt good to be racing again. It felt really good to be in that environment. Like. You forget, if you're not in the race environment or really just any event environment, you forget how cool it is to be around people who are all going after the same type of goal. Everyone was, everyone like a pack of pickup. Everyone was kind of a little nervous and excited and having the same emotions that you were. And then that morning you get there and everyone is like, kind of getting their stuff set up and there's all that nervous and excited energy. And I don't know, I just think that's it's so fun to be around that, and it's been a while since I've done that. So, so that was cool, and sure enough, I started off, and it happened to be the hottest day of the year so far here in Black Mountain, which was about 83 degrees and sunny, not a cloud in the sky, for at least the time that I was out on the course. So it was quite warm, which is not all that hot, in the grand scheme of things. Like midsummer, 83 is not going to feel that hot, but it felt very hot to be running. In this, I just hadn't adjusted yet. But it went pretty well, I would say. There were some definite highs, definite lows. So I started off on 11 loops was my target. That was my stretch goal. If I could do that, then I knew I would.
That would have been how many miles? 35?
35 point something.
Okay.
0.7 or something. Which means that I would have had to average right at a 10-minute pace, but that includes like stops and pee breaks and filling up your water bottle and all that stuff. And the first 3 loops were like perfect. I was around 9:30. for those loops, I was coming in just under 30 minutes for the 3.25 mile loop. And I was just cruising. I was cruising with a group of people. We were all kind of sticking together and having a great
time. Do they
time.
know you were the local town councilman?
Yeah, one of them did, and started a whole conversation, and then started asking me about some issues that he had. And then I was like, all right, guys, I can't talk about this stuff. I'm focused here. I'm running. Don't want to talk about that stuff. But yeah, so the first 3 loops were going great, and the 4th loop is when the heat started really. The race started at 10, so by loop 4, it was right around noon. The sun was out, the heat started coming, and I pretty quickly realized on that loop that it was going to be harder for me to maintain this pace than I had hoped. And then by loop 5, but I kept the pace on through 4. By loop 5, I started slowing down a little bit. By loop 6, I was getting chills, which is something you had commented on during this exact race.
Right.
And definitely a sign of I don't know, dehydration or overheating. I'm not sure. But it was loop 6 that I said, okay, I need to readjust my goals because this is just it. I'm gonna blow up and not be able to finish it off. So I toned it down to 10 loops, and decided that was my goal. And that kind of thing. There's a point in ultramarathons, and really any race, I'd say, but especially in ultramarathons, where it goes from fun to starting to hurt, and you have to kind of decide, like, okay, do I want to dwell on this hurt? Do I want to try to move past it? Do I want to get to the point where, like, the hurt is just kind of part of, like, the experience and a positive thing? And when you're doing a timed race versus
or just alternative is give up, right?
Or just give up. Right.
Yeah.
Well, and what's different is like with a timed race like this versus a distance race where you have to complete a certain distance, is that I could have just stopped at at 6 loops, right? And that wouldn't have been a did not finish. I could have come up with a bunch of excuses or whatever. I mean, I don't know. Like you can just stop. Whereas on a distance race, if you stop, you don't finish, and so you get a big DNF, and you don't finish. So. I ultimately decided that 10 loops was the way to go. I would still be excited about that. It'd be over 50K, which was kind of I think I would have been disappointed had I not hit a 50K distance, and readjusted. And that ended up being the perfect distance for me because I continued to push as hard as I could. I slowed way down, but I continued to just grind it out and finished the 10 loops in 5 hours and 50 minutes ish. So with about 10 minutes to spare. So there was just no, when I decided on 10 loops, I also said, if I have at least 30 minutes, then I might try to go for that 11th loop and just try to, like, push it as hard as I can. But it was nowhere close to it. So that ended up being a more realistic goal for me. And I'm really happy with it. It just felt so good to be racing again. It felt so good to be at that point where I was having to make the hard decisions and kind of being like, why am I out here? What am I doing? And then continuing past that, pushing past that, getting to a point where, I don't really know how to describe it, but if you've been there, whether it's a 10K or a marathon or an ultramarathon, where you're having to say, like, okay, this is hard. This is really hard, but I'm choosing to do it, and I'm going to learn something from this, and I'm going to be stronger because of it. And if you can kind of get to that point, then the pain is like has purpose. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Good. Well, that sounds like a more positive spin than the Instagram post Aaron Rich. It sounded to me like it was bad news at first. You were disappointed.
Well, I try not to be negative. I mean, I'm several days past it now, so I've had a little bit more time to reflect.
Right.
And man, I don't know that I've ever been that hot running, had the heat affect me as much.
Why would that be if it wasn't all that hot?
I don't know.
Not having trained in the heat.
Maybe not having trained, and just being a little bit out of shape and kind of pushing like my fitness level anyway, and then to do that and then in the heat and I was drinking a lot of fluids. Originally I was going to drink one bottle, which was like an 8-ounce or maybe a 10-ounce bottle every other lap, every 6 miles. But I ended up drinking 2 a lap. I would fill it after every lap. I'd get to the aid station. I'd fill it up. I'd chug it and fill it up again, and then carry that with me on the lap. And so I was just drinking so much water and Gatorade. And so I don't know, but I crossed that finish line. I found the first patch of shade that I could find, and I just laid down. And Katie brought over some ice and just put it on my forehead and sat there for like 10 minutes. And then I was like, okay, I can sit up and talk now. But I was so hot and overheated. One kind of, you've seen those videos of people who are like 10 yards from the finish line of a marathon and their body completely cramps up and they just like collapse and have to like crawl over the finish line. I was getting these Charlie horses in my shins on the like final push, like 100 feet from the finish line.
Right.
And I kept kind of like, it would just shoot up my leg and I'd kind of hobble and kind of do this weird little thing. I was like, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to have to crawl across the finish line because my body's going to like shut down on me.
Scary.
But, so immediately following the race, I was feeling a little defeated, I guess I should say, but it was a good thing. Like in reflection, I think that's exactly what I needed and what I wanted. And it's fired me up to, I'm excited to train this week, and I've already gone out for a ride and a run, and I'm excited for the next thing. So this is good.
Good. All right. I'm glad to hear it. Look forward to hearing what you decide next. Have you said what's next? You haven't told us anything, right?
I have a 50K. The next race I have is 50K in October, and then 100K in November.
Okay.
Which I don't know if I've announced that yet. But
yeah, I don't think so. Maybe. All right. Good. Well, glad to hear that. Annie says, "Way to go, Doug." Loves that feeling you're talking about. Jeff was following your progress, rooting for you on from home. So very good. And Facebook user says no one can get anyone from compliments to reply to any communication. So that doesn't sound like the compliments staff that I know. So send an email to support@lovecompliment.com. Is that right, Doug?
Team@lovecompliment.com.
Team@lovecompliment. Yeah. So there's your official support channel. I promise if you write to that, you will get responses. So don't go fear mongering and telling other people that no one's responding and all that. Just, things get out of control. S. Cook says, congrats, Doug. Good. How about Katie? How did hers go? First race ever, is that right?
It was her first 10K ever. She had run a couple 5Ks. Her first trail race ever. And she did great as well. She did really awesome. It was down in Old Fort, a really cool little trail network down there. And she ended up running it with a couple of friends. She trained with a couple of friends, and she wasn't sure if they were going to run together. They stuck together pretty much the whole race. She pushed way faster than everyone thought, and said that she was like going down the hills. She was running faster down hills than she had never run before, and she came across just feeling really good. I mean, it was awesome. It was so cool to kind of see her catch the bug. And the next day they were talking about signing up for a half marathon. So
wow.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's great.
All right, that's cool. Way to go, Katie.
Yeah. And it was fun to, like I said, it was fun to be in that atmosphere, not just one day, but 2 days, and have our kids be a part of that too. Like our kids came and hung out. They didn't hang out for the whole 6 hours, but came out and set up a little aid station for me with watermelon and some ice water and stuff like that, which was really fun for them to be a part of in that way. And then we got to go watch Katie start and finish her race and give her high fives and do all that stuff. So I don't know. They were into it. They were already talking about whether we were doing races this weekend too, so they could go to this. So that's fun.
Nice. Good. Very good. Glad to hear it. Successful weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Good. All right. Well, we could chat more. Shout out to Juicy's Wellness Cafe in Cookeville, Tennessee yesterday. I found it on Happy Cow. It was right off the highway. Very good, healthy, whole food kind of plant-based food. I meant to mention it earlier.
Was it a plant-based spot, or was it just happen to have?
Yeah, 100% vegan spot. They had, cookbooks and all that stuff. I think maybe they leaned towards forks over knives kind of stuff, but my thing had like a vegan ranch in it that I'm pretty sure was not oil-free. I don't know. It was good. It was a great wrap with white beans. It was like a white bean club wrap, they called it. It was delicious. Great spot. So check that out. Juicy's. All right, let's get to our.
So,
I got
no Beyond Burgers or Impossible
They had
Whoppers.
that. They had Beyond Burgers.
No.
But as you
on
know,
your car ride how many hours were you in the car?
About 15.
15
hours.
No trips to Burger King or anything like that.
No, we went to Juicy's and didn't eat the Beyond Burgers. They did have those, but we didn't get them. And then we stopped at Kimchi Brothers in St. Louis. Got a delicious kimchi sandwich that did have fake plant-based meat in it, spicy plant-based meat. I wish they would have had a tofu option. I totally would have gotten that, but it was great. Great bibimbap bowl, vegan
bibimbap.
Yes. Other news: plant-based athlete paperback unceremoniously launched yesterday. It's $21.99 on Amazon right now. The hardcover is $16.69, so the better deal with the hardcover. But if you do that, it won't be good for a beach read. Bending the cover back and all that. Hold with one hand. So that's why you pay the premium to get that. And it has a New York Times bestseller tag across the top, like a banner on it, which I'm excited to have because I'm proud of that.
Yeah, you should.
So anyway,
cool. Well, that's exciting.
Go check that out on Amazon. I assume so. I don't really know for sure. I think eventually stores stock that instead of the hardcover. So I would imagine, but it's definitely on Amazon right now.
All right.
So that's that. Otherwise, we got a lengthy weather report today, and that's it. No long article. We figured Doug's racing could be the main focus. But because we haven't done a real show since Friday, and Friday was a Q&A, a lot of news has backed up. So we'll be quick, but it's good, hard-hitting stuff from some of our favorite brands. Ready, Doug? I don't have the sound machine with me, so I can't have any music.
Do weather report.
Okay, here we go. Let's do it. Our favorite brand, love-hate relationship, Oatly. They have announced in the U.S. they're launching their oat-based version of the famous Philadelphia cream cheese. It's going to be in plain and chive and onion, and it'll come out beginning today through Q3. Which actually, I don't know if it was today or yesterday when this came out, but through third quarter. So I guess it's sort of a test run. Their food scientists spent a year developing this new product using their oat base. So this is not animal-free whey or dairy identical cheese or whatever they're calling it, where they do the precision fermentation thing. That's what the Philadelphia brand cream cheese theirs is. I think. Am I right about that, Doug, or am I wrong about that? Now I think I'm not right.
I don't know, actually. I'm not sure.
I think that uses like fava bean something and some other stuff, but I think maybe that isn't precision fermented. So I need to check my facts there.
Bianca, if she was.
Yeah, I would too. Which is why I think it isn't. So Bianca could tell us for sure if she was here, but she's not here. She had it. So anyway, that's kind of cool. I'd totally try it. As much as I hate all these advertisements, I do think their products are pretty good. So just keep focusing on those products, not so much on the ads. Keep putting out innovative stuff, and that's your roadmap going forward, Oatly.
I don't know that the world needs another vegan cream cheese unless it's good, unless it's like different than some of the other ones, the heart one or I don't. I mean, I know that we have some fans of the vegan cream cheeses here. We eat Miyoko's in our house, and that's kind of the only one that I'm much of a fan of myself.
People think that's too sour though, Doug. They need an
alternative. I like the funk, man. I dig the funk. The thing is that a lot of them just have like kind of a plasticky texture and taste to them, and they don't melt properly, and or like if you put them on a hot bagel or whatever, they melt weird.
Right, they melt like butter melts.
Yeah,
because they're coconut oil based.
Right.
So they're also not good. Kite Hill. That's why I'm a fan of Kite Hill. There's this almond, and I think it's as good as it gets. I don't see any reason to improve on that.
Okay.
Which is why dairy identical I'd be excited about. But you know what? I don't know. Oatly, they do deliver the good product.
They do.
So I'll be curious to try this one. But I hear what you're saying. It seems like we've got plenty of plant-based cream cheese options already. So
I've been keeping an eye out for Oatly.
Yeah.
And there's someone I follow who has a large following on Instagram, maybe, who's not plant-based. He's a Red Bull athlete. But he has Oatly. He's like from, I don't know, somewhere in Europe. He has Oatly all the time. He's not plant-based. Like, it's just kind of like the thing that's on the table when they're making coffee or pouring cereal or whatever. Like, I wonder if
he's sponsored.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think so. It just seems like they have Oatly around, and I wonder if it's more common in other places. Not that it's uncommon here, but
that's possible because we hear things about Oatly having airline deals and whatever else, and a lot of them are abroad, not here. So good. All right, next up, the Game Changers sequel is coming. They've hit 100 million downloads or watches or whatever, views, I guess, on Netflix, and it's coming. LeBron James has a production company, Spring Hill Entertainment. He and Maverick Carter founded it. I don't know who Maverick Carter is. You, Doug?
Nope.
That's one in your world? No. And it's going to be directed by Stephanie Sochtig and Kristen Lazor. They've done some other stuff. So I saw this, got excited. LeBron James, this is good. This is great for plant-based news. Then I read a little more about the content, and it says it will continue exploring plant-based nutrition and athletic performance. Good. But we'll also cover broader subjects such as children's health, food justice, and the environment. If I had that Price is Right sound, I would be doing that right now. Yeah. It'll feature a cast of high-profile athletes and entertainers. Look, I don't think those things are bad. And if you had a documentary that was about only those topics, preferably about only any one of those topics, you have the makings of a good documentary. I don't know if that stuff belongs in Game Changers 2. It just seems like pretty up against something with Game Changers 2. Like you got to do better than the first or add to the first, something different, right? Because you can't just have more of the same. So obviously they have to change it, and that's obviously why they've expanded. But I don't know. This doesn't sound like a must watch for me so far.
There already is environmental, plant-based, pro-vegan documentaries. There's already ethical vegan documentaries. What stood out about Game Changers is that it didn't do any of that. That it was about athletes and sports, and it was talking to an audience that maybe wasn't as interested in the other stuff, or wouldn't have been interested in a movie that was trying to incorporate everything. And so I'm a little worried we're gonna lose the what made Game Changers, which was really talking about what it does for performance in your body, and that you can build muscle, you can build strength, you can do all the cool stuff that you want to do, and do it on a plant-based diet. So I'm a little worried about this. I'm like you. I was a little disappointed to see that they were trying to branch out and cover everything, even though I'm all for all that stuff.
Yeah. Right. So maybe they could right the ship if they were to bring in New York Times bestselling author of The Plant-Based Athlete, include him and his lovable sidekick from the Plant-Based Morning Show. We could talk. team@lovecompliment.com. Send me to that.
Don't comment on Facebook. No one's gonna.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, that is that.
That's a joke.
Yes. All right. Here's another one. I'm really excited about this one. Oh, by the way, I do hope Game Changers is a success. This has nothing to do with my being slighted and not included in the first one. Not bitter or anything like that. Truly not. James Wilkes did an Omid Athlete Radio interview, I think, not that long ago. They want what we want. This is the same cause. So I'm absolutely rooting for this movie, and I hope it turns out awesome. And I'm confident they'll find a way to make it good. But those topics they worry me.
Yes.
All right, good. On to the next. This is big news, Doug. This is huge. This would be all kinds of sounds and bells and things if I had the sound machine. Ding, the Taco Bell noise. Taco Bell is testing its first fully vegan entree, the Vegan Crunchwrap, which is the item that I get anyway when I go to Taco Bell. Of course, I don't get it's not called the Vegan Crunchwrap. It's you hit the vegetarian menu button and then you make it fresco style and you get a Vegan Crunchwrap made with black beans. And I think the Crunchwrap is their best menu item, does what Taco Bell does best, combining different Mexican ingredients in innovative ways. They wrap the hard thing in the tortilla, so it's great to eat on the road. Anyway, this one though has all the components of the original, but without any animal products. So there's plant-based beef. This is not the plant-based carne asada they were testing earlier last year. I don't actually know what happened with that test. I couldn't remember, and I asked Erin; she didn't know either. But it's plant-based beef. I don't think was that a Beyond collaboration, Doug? I think it was, right? I
think it was the Beyond Steak, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so too.
That looks like.
So I don't know if it's them or not. You would think so, but it doesn't say that here. A cool dairy-free sour cream Blanco sauce. It sounds like that might tantalize your taste buds, Doug, right? You like all this stuff. Warm nacho sauce.
They're tingling as we speak.
Shredded lettuce, diced tomatoes. That's nothing new, those two. And a crunchy tostada wrapped in an oversized flour tortilla. That's all what makes the regular Crunchwrap so great, all those last 4 things. So they're testing it. They decided to go to cities with sizable vegan populations. So it's in Los Angeles, New York City, and Orlando. Veg News has the addresses actually listed of what they are, and so does Veg Economist, where I got the article. So you can go to those sites if you care about the actual locations. But man, if you were in one of those cities, I would give that a try because Taco Bell has done a great job. That starts June 8th, tomorrow, Thursday. But Taco Bell's been a great vegan option in almost a secret vegan menu sense. I mean, it's not a secret at all, but they don't have like a lot of advertised vegan options. It's just really easy to veganize everything on the menu almost. So I don't know. I'm a big fan of Taco Bell. I don't know if this will replace the regular Crunchwrap for me. Right now, Taco Bell feels like an indulgence, but like a little bit of a healthy-ish meal.
Healthier, right? Yeah, I was about to ask, like, is this because this is venturing into all the fake stuff, right? Before it was beans, you just like beans and fresh lettuce and stuff like that, salsa. So is this something that you're interested in, really, or I mean, is this good for the vegan community? That's the real question.
I mean, I think it's good for the community. I think I'm not fighting the fight anymore that we need whole foods and that's the only way vegan will thrive. I don't know. I
like you were.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's what I want to eat, and I think people want that. I don't know what I think. Cultivated Meat has changed the whole game. And by the way, we got news on that coming next.
Okay.
That's why I'm just. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen going forward. I don't even think we're going to have plant-based going. We're going to have cultivated meat. We're going to have cruelty-free eating that is normal omnivore eating, but it's all cruelty-free. That's what I think is going to happen eventually. All right, so that is the Taco Bell news. Go check that out. Let us know how it is, please. If you go to one of those locations and try it, please get in touch and we'll have you on the show or whatever.
Yeah,
you can tell us about it.
Definitely
promote your brand.
Or just you. We can promote you.
Yeah, right. Okay, and then I promised Cultivated Meat news a second ago. Here it is. Just Egg brand, Eat Just. Doug, you're a fan of them, of course. Well, actually, I'm a little confused here. Good Meat. Okay, so Good Meat is a subsidiary of Eat Just. The other subsidiary is Just Egg, I think. So Good Meat, I mean, this is kind of a weird headline. The headline is they've been showing the USDA around its facilities. That was Veg News' sub-headline here. But they just got, a few months ago, the approval from the FDA, whatever it was called, the no questions letter from the FDA, meaning USDA is the final hurdle to selling this stuff. Cultivated, lab grown. This is, where they grow the stuff in a bioreactor in a lab. No animals harmed other than the initial getting of cells, which doesn't kill the animal, doesn't even harm the animal that much. It's like getting a needle, from what I understand. They don't use bovine fetal serum. Again, from what I understand, I don't know what changes in what countries, but this is pretty close to cruelty free, but it's real meat that they grow in a lab. So they're waiting for USDA certification, but now, so they're showing them around the facility. Sanaa Baig, the USDA Deputy Undersecretary for Research, Education, and Economics. You ever worked with them, Doug?
No, never worked with them.
Political duties? No? Okay. And alongside Ilya Shaman, the CEO of the Good Food Institute, who I think have emailed us with some stuff before, so that's kind of cool. They tasted the cultivated meat as well. So no other news here other than they're getting shown around. They're interested. They're sniffing around to see if this is going to get approval. I don't know when that official word will come. It sounds like it's not really close to happening yet, but they're in the factory. They're checking it out. So maybe not going to be all that long until this is green-lighted for sale in the U.S. Does that make you excited, Doug?
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, look what they did with Just Egg, right?
Yeah.
They can put that kind of product out with cultivated meat. I will definitely be interested in trying it. The question, of course, would be price, which is not going to be cheap for a long time.
No. Now, would you get a Taco Bell Crunchwrap with cultivated chicken from?
Totally. 100%. If I saw that on the menu today, I'd get it. No qualms about trying that. I'd be thrilled to try that.
Nice.
Okay, so that's that one, and we still got two more. They're quick though. In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott. You ever work with him, Doug, in your town council duties?
Don't work with Greg Abbott. No.
Don't like it. So you know him. You just not a fan.
I know him. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, not a fan of his work.
Not a fan of his work. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. He signed Senate Bill 664 into law in Texas, where 70% of the farmland is dedicated to ranches, says Veg News. All right, I don't get the big deal here, though. The law requires prominent labeling for plant-based or fermented alternatives to meat, poultry, seafood, and eggs. Must state that the products are, quote, analog, meatless, plant-based, made from plants, or similar terminology. If it's cultivated meat, they got to say cell-cultured, lab-grown, or comparable language. And, of course, the idea here is to protect the consumer to, well, the alleged, ostensibly, the idea is protect the consumer who, a survey shows 1 in 5 of them in Texas are confused. They purchase plant-based products thinking they contain animal meat. I don't know what that says about Texas education system because they're already clearly labeled, and that's why I don't get the big deal. The plant-based products already say this, and Veg News points this out that they already say this stuff as a selling point. Of course, they don't want to make people think this is real meat. They want to tell the vegans who are going to buy it that it's not. So they already have those terms. I don't really understand what the big deal. This doesn't sound like a law we need to fight against. It does sound kind of like Veg News is wanting to fight against it, asking if it's unconstitutional and all this other stuff. I don't see what the big deal is. This is, of course, like it should say that it's meatless or plant based. Like we don't want it not to say that. So I don't really
because you're still allowed to put chicken on there or yogurt or whatever.
Right. No mention of that stuff. Yeah. So I don't quite know what's up here. I'm surprised it's not worse. I don't know. I just figured with all the agriculture interests down there that there would be more aggressive stuff that makes us angry. But I don't know. This seems okay to me.
What's interesting is the cell culture or the lab grown. Thinking about cultivated meat is like, are you gonna have to put that? You're not gonna have to put that on like a menu, right? Like if you're serving a Crunchwrap and it has cultivated meat in it, do you have to? Like it was one day, and I'm just thinking hypothetically here. Are people going to care if it's like cultivated or not? Are they going to want to know that kind of thing? Is there going to be a pushback from the traditional meat industry wanting you to label that kind of thing to scare people?
Yeah, I mean, of course there will. Will eventually we get to a point where meat is meat? Doesn't matter whether it's grown in a lab or from animals, and maybe most people even prefer that it comes from a lab because, I don't know, health can be more controlled or something, or whatever. I mean, who knows? There's always going to be people who don't want that, who just don't think it's natural or God's plan or whatever. So,
but thinking about your example about the vegans want to know that they're eating a plant-based burger, some people will want to know that it's cultivated meat, right? And so it would be in Taco Bell's best interest to label it for some people, not for others, of course. But
right. I mean, you have to imagine for the next decade, they're always going to very clearly say when something's cultivated. Because people would be outraged most people would be outraged if they thought they were getting meat and it turned out it was lab grown. That's just not going to happen, or at least not legally, or not. People aren't going to be happy about that. So that'll happen. Maybe one day there's a future though where people don't care or where it's the norm, and I hope that happens. That would be great for animals. That'd be amazing. So that's the Texas, the food obligatory food labeling conversation, which seems to happen almost every episode in some new state or some country or whatever. And finally, nothing too exciting here, but this is cool. U.S. specialty grocer Sprouts Farmers Market. It's Bianca's place where she goes to get her new vegan meats. They have revealed that sales of their plant-based foods in their stores grew 21% in 2022, not 2022, just 2022. According to their environmental, social, and governance report, they operate 380 stores in 23 states. So this is a decent sized sample, I think. That doesn't mean that people are eating 21% more plant foods. It just means Sprouts shoppers are doing that. And maybe Sprouts is where maybe they attract vegans. Maybe that's a marketing shift and now more vegans go there. Whatever. Who knows what? But different story than plant-based food market is failing and doom and gloom and all that, for sure.
Yeah.
A 22.
It also doesn't mean that animal-based foods are 21% had a 21% decrease.
That's a good point. They did not compare to the overall sales increase, did they?
But I think that if people are, we talk all the time, like if people are buying a plant-based milk or a plant-based burger instead of a meat burger, even if it's just once for one meal a week or whatever, I think that's fantastic. So I love to see these numbers climb.
Yep. Good. Okay. Then that's our show. We're right on time here. 44 minutes we did. So we'll be back tomorrow. As we said, it'll be 3 p.m. Eastern time. And then Friday, it'll be early. Probably a time like this one. I don't know exactly what time, but you can always go to our Discord. It's nomeatathlete.com/Discord. That's where you can interact, find out about the show times and all that stuff. But I think that's it. I don't think anything else is
new.
Yeah.
Good luck to Holden today. How many games?
2 games today, 2 tomorrow. I think they're all Friday and then Saturday and Sunday. And
are you going to be the this is your first impression to be a dad in this league, right? So are you going to be the aggressive dad that's yelling at the refs and doing all that stuff, or are you going to sit back and kind of let it go?
That is frowned upon, Doug. It's been many years since that has been tolerated on sidelines. Parents are not to say almost a word at these events. You can coach in the past tense. You can say good job, nice job. You can't say do this, do that, kick it down here, run after this. You just say good job. You don't yell. You don't get involved with the refs. None of that. It's just not how you do things.
I'm just saying, first impressions are a big deal. You could set the stage for the rest of the season. So.
You're right. Now that would get him kicked off the team, possibly.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And not just this high level. I mean, a lot of clubs, you just can't do that.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Well, then I take it all back. Don't do that, Matt. Be good. Be calm. Nice
I will.
Golf clap.
I can't wait. He has just texted me, and first of all, he says, and he probably knows because all these soccer boys he's with in the hotel, they probably have the inside scoop. He will probably get loaned from Miami to Barca. So that's an interesting. He was also considering Barcelona, which is his old team. This is Messi, not Holden.
I was gonna say what?
So anyway, I texted him earlier about the Messi news, and he says he'll probably get loaned, which happens all the time. These administrative sort of yes, technically he's on this team, but they loan him immediately to this team. So who knows how long he'll actually be, or when he'll actually go to Miami if he does it all. But that's what he's saying.
So and chances are he'll play in Barcelona for a while.
Well, I wouldn't say chances are. These rumors, especially from Holden's sources, which is his soccer teammates, questionable sources for sure. But we'll see what happens with that. And
he's wearing a Charlotte FC jersey. So
who is? Yeah. Oh, Holden. Yeah, right. Yeah. And he tells me they're wearing the blue this morning. He thinks so. That's exciting for me.
See,
you got the right shirt on. All right. I'll let you know how it goes tomorrow. We'll check in. Thanks everyone for accommodating this different time, for showing up here and rolling with the punches as the summer continues and all kinds of unpredictability.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Have a good day. We'll be back tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.